people who are healers and coaches, whether they've been doing this in a conscious way or whether they've unconsciously already been living this life of being healers and coaches. The intention of this podcast is to find some of the best, literally across India and, of course, across the globe. So, I have with me today a truly, truly fascinating and a fantastic guest. This is, of course, your cue, Dr. Suchithrra. Welcome. And as her tech tunes in, uh, a little bit of a background here. This is something that I make it a point to not follow the norm. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I met Dr. Suchithrra and why you're going to be blown away by her stories, by her life, and the reasons why she is not just here, but the reasons why she does what she does. So, you know, if you've ever been in seminars, if you've ever attended conferences, especially as healers and coaches, for those of you who are in the know, it's like if you know, you know, you meet some truly fantastic people. And this was literally a month ago that I had no prior background, but I met Dr. Suchithrra. And, you know, it's like some people, when you meet them, you just hit it off, as they say, like a house on fire. So, ever since we started chatting, we've just been talking about so many different and diverse topics. And so, one of them was I said, you know, I have this podcast and I'd love for you to come and be a guest. I'd love to invite you as a guest on my show. So, first things first, thank you so much for making the time and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Rahul. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So this is the beautiful part, by the way, of what we do as digital based healers and coaches, right? We may not have all the elements in our control. Like we had a pretty clear line before we started, but the audio and the video may sort of come and go. But one thing I'll promise you, for those of you who really want to hear the full, you know, the full pod, do watch the repeat or the replay on YouTube, because the production will be kind of up right now. Our focus is really going to be on you, and the intention is that as you hear Dr. Suchitra's stories, that they inspire you, and especially as a healer coach, somebody who's on the journey, they inspire you and they remind you that you've been put on this earth for a purpose, and that you already have that purpose, whether you know it or not. And so, um, my wish and my prayer is that even if there's one story, even if there's one nugget that you pick up from this pod, that it truly inspires you to live with purpose. With that, over to you, Dr. Suchithrra, or Suchithrra as I like to refer to you. And I'd love for you to share with us, like, what is it
Please.
that you do today?
Good question. What is it that I do? Every day I wake up with an intention of making a difference to someone in someone's life,
Mm,
because at the end of the day, that is what gives me happiness. The ability to make a tangible difference, even if it's a teeny tangible difference to someone's life, a smile on someone's face, it makes a lot of difference. And that's that's how I go about every day. You see beyond a person, you try to see beyond a person, try to be yours and see the goodness in a person and relate to that goodness. I think life becomes very, very good, very beautiful. The world
mm,
becomes a beautiful place.
awesome. So I'm going to check back on our tech.
You want
Okay,
me to
so that was
explain
me.
anything more?
So there was a silence because I was just checking to see, was there a lag, or was that you waiting for, whether you were waiting for me to ask a question, because what you said is really, really powerful, right? When we talk about life, um, in in the journey that you're on, especially now in the context of coaching, I'd love for you to give people a sense of, where have you arrived at this point, with, of course, as a caveat that in a moment we get to have an experience of reflections of your life, of how you got here. So before we get to that, if you could share, um, when someone asks you today, so Dr. Suchitra, what do you do today, right? What do you say? What do you say to them now?
What do I do today?
Hmm. And as a hint and a
I
nudge, you had some.
every
You said
day I
something about being, something related to happiness. So if you could
yes.
share a little bit about that.
So that's what I mean. I tend to be happy every day. Today is no difference. Today, in fact, I traveled last night from Trivandrum to Guruvayur, where I have a house. It was an urgent decision, and I
Hmm.
thankfully remember to carry my laptop because the having that podcast today really had lost. And yeah, but I carried the laptop with me, and which was like, uh, I don't know, it was something which was meant to be. And so that's how things happen to me in my life. I don't say coincidences, but yeah,
Hmm.
there is something that keeps me in lieu with doing the right things at the right time.
Hmm.
And so I traveled to Guruvayur, so that's why I'm at Guruvayur now. So today was was a good day
Hmm.
because a lot of things got done what I had come for. That's that's the way to be. Take
Nice.
each day, take each minute,
Nice.
live life king size.
Beautiful. So a question now is, when you talk about coaching, um, what are you intending to do? Given that you also mentioned, as we were kind of preparing and we were getting ready for today's pod, you talked about being a trainer. That was, I'm guessing, one of your avatars. But when you talk about coaching today, uh, where are you on that journey?
I have been coaching, like when you started your introduction, when you said something that unconsciously that you have been working on this journey for
Yes.
some time. I have been, I should say, unconsciously on the journey of coaching
Mm,
from a very long time.
mm,
And I never realized that I was doing it because it was something which was happening very naturally, very casually,
mm,
without any effort that I was taking from my part. But I came or understood about it when people came back and told me that did make a difference.
mm,
You really helped me out from this. You were able to guide me in the right direction. I said, did I do that? I mean,
mm,
it was like a very, I mean, I must have forgotten about it. But they remembered and they came back to me. And that's when I realized there must be something in the way I
mm,
communicate which must be helping people to get something from it and be happy.
mm,
So that's when I slowly realized that then with a lot of, everyone's life has got its ups and
mm,
downs. And as a trainer, when I was with HSBC earlier, and I was the leading global trainers for HSBC, totally out of my background because I am a postgrad in microbiology with
wow.
a honorary doctorate in psychology.
Mm,
So it's very diverse, and I was working for a banking function for more than 18 years of my life.
wow.
But the best part of working there in a banking function for those 18 years was the tangible difference,
Right.
not training per se, but the
Mm,
tangible difference I could make in the person or a person's life,
mm,
and which I wouldn't know unless they came back and told me. And there were multitudes, I could say thousands of people who have come back and told me
mm,
that you did make a difference. And that's when I
yeah.
realized probably that's the purpose of my life. Because when I hear that word, that I did make a difference without even my knowledge,
Right.
it really made my day. It gave me a lot
Mm,
of happiness, satisfaction, contentment,
mm,
that it's not about all about money. It's just about being able
mm,
to give something to someone without any selflessly, basically without any
yeah.
intention of getting anything back.
Mm, beautiful.
So yeah.
Mm,
And by the way, now I have resigned from my job. So the, I was focusing on a small population of people who were in HSBC who used to come through me
Mm,
through the training or through the talk. I decided that was too small an audience that I wanted to
mm,
relate to. So I
mm,
wanted to relate to a larger audience. So I took a very, very, very tough decision
mm,
of putting down my papers and starting on my coaching journey, hopefully to give. I can't say I am capable of doing that, but at least try to transform
mm.
people's life so that they can be their best version of themselves. And that
Nice,
is my intention in this coaching journey.
nice, nice. So take us back in time. Like this is who you are. This is what you are. It sounds also like you're making a lot of shifts at present. You've been used to life a certain way, and you've made shifts and turns in the last maybe the last couple of years. But even before we get to that, share with us like what was that, what was the start of this journey? When you talk about training, and you talk about, of course, eventually coaching, um, at what point did you have some of these experiences that somewhere at later points kind of kept getting you closer and closer to doing what you do, and to experience what you did, where people come back and tell you that how you have transformed them, right? So if you go further back in time to in your on your timeline in your life, like what were some of those stories that um, in a way maybe played a pivotal role, in a way um, shaped you to the point that you kept moving and shaping and forming till, of course, you got here. So what's that journey like? What's it been like?
I think that that goes back right to my childhood.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Being born and brought up in Mumbai,
Uh-huh.
I'm a Mumbaiite in
Mm-hmm.
that way, but with a lot of traditional values still with me. So my
Mm.
parents brought me up very traditionally,
Mm.
and that grain which has been implanted in me,
Mm.
especially towards spirituality. We were a pretty spiritual family, and spirituality, that has been my background from where I have come up. I
Mm.
used to go for discourses of
Right.
mythology.
Mm.
The stories of
Right.
mythology has inspired me a lot. And and that time when I was as a child, I used to just listen to them as stories. But
Mm.
as I grew older, as I matured, as my thinking process expanded, I started analyzing the essence of those stories, because every story in mythology has an essence.
Right.
And that essence was something which has been, or sort of, made me realize that I have
Mm.
something which I can offer to others,
Mm.
because it's made a difference to me
Right.
internally and made
Mm.
me a better person.
Nice.
Sharing that with someone else with
Mm.
the hope, it's how, I mean, I can only give. It depends on the taker how that person takes it,
Sure, sure.
and what to say, assimilates it and embeds it into their consciousness.
Mm.
It
Mm.
depends totally on them. But at least I thought I have a duty. I'm duty bound to the universe
Mm.
to share this vast knowledge which is there to others too. So
Mm.
I would say that is a call of the universe, that it is time now. You are
Mm.
ready. It is time for you to start your journey and share as much as possible on your way, like a river flowing.
Mm.
It just flows.
Mm.
What happens on its path, it
Mm.
is totally unaware of it. That
Beautiful.
is the way I want to be, and want to be in this coaching journey. So the
Right.
start of it, to answer your question, started a long, long back
Yeah,
as a
yeah,
child.
of
And
course.
I always say the best gift my parents have given me, born into that family, is a great blessing.
Mm.
And the best gift they have given me is this ability to go inside and
Mm.
find strength from myself.
Wow. Mm. And what was like the, if you sort of track it back, where you said there were instances from childhood that eventually led you to, in your first chapter, from what I could gather, uh, you know to step into this world of training, which is its own animal, for lack of a better word, right? As someone who's also been in corporate training for like a decade and a half, it's its own, uh, it's its own animal, let's put it that way for now. But I'd
Yes.
love to hear your take on, coming from the experiences that you had growing up, um, spirituality and folklore and stories of, from spirituality, right, and from religion, drawing from that to, you know coming into a space as a teacher, but in a corporate environment. What was that shift for you, as you kind of grew into that?
Good question. There's a lot of thought process that needs to go into
Hmm.
answering that question.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the transition was for me for me personally, that was my first corporate job,
Mm.
and that too at a later stage in my life, because I had decided to start my career only post when my kid or my daughter started her schooling, because
Mm.
I didn't want her to miss out on those
Mm-hmm.
formative years. So only the day she joined school, I got this offer, a walk-in interview to offer to walk in, and I got selected on that same day.
Wow.
The entire process took around 2 hours,
Mm.
and I was like, okay, let's do the job. And the timelines was perfect because she went into school and I went into a job. And
Nice.
I think at the job, I think this is something which I should be telling. I mean, nowadays the kids don't need this thing, but at my point of time, where the interviews were going on for an hour or so, my
Mm.
interview was 10 minutes,
Mm.
because I answered the one question with one answer, which probably no one else answered. And the question was, are you ready to work in the night shift?
Mm.
And my answer to that was, I only want to work in the night shift. And they were
Wow.
like, what? You're the first person to tell us that.
Huh.
So they asked me the reason why I answered it that way. I said,
Right.
I'll be working on my own time,
Mm.
because that is essentially is a time when I would be sleeping, when I am not responsible for anyone
Mm.
else's
Wow.
at the time, I should say. So I said that I would like to work only in the night shift, because and that's what I had. Nearly 10 years of my corporate life, I was
Mm.
working from a 8:30 in the night to a 5:30
Wow.
a.m. job.
Wow.
And in that process, so the transition for me itself was a
Mm.
little difficult, but then
Mm.
being born and brought up in Mumbai was an added advantage, because I could adapt pretty easily,
Mm.
and by by the grace of the Almighty, uh, communication skills was always been a forte.
Mm.
So, and that was the reason why I got selected as a trainer within a year.
Mm.
And it was not easy, because there was a whole lot of competition, but I got
Mm.
selected as a trainer within a year.
Wow.
And when I went into training, uh, I always have believed in putting 100%,
Mm.
more than 100% in whatever I do. So I think that stood good stead with me,
Mm.
but made me a workaholic. I cannot deny that fact.
Mm.
My daughter used to say, at least after the COVID time, she used to say, Amma, earlier you were just at least only 9 to 10 hours on your computer, or probably
Mm.
14 hours when you were working in the office.
Mm.
But after that, it's 24 by 7. I couldn't tell her anything else, because it was a fact. So,
Mm.
yeah, so once I entered the training field and technical training, that's what I used to do,
Mm. Mm.
and it was very different. But the
Mm.
way I used to train them, I could see that they were able to understand things better, and that was basically even for a banking sector training. I realized that analogies, metaphors, made a lot of difference.
Mm.
For a point to stick, a metaphor or an analogy
Right.
made a lot of
Nice.
difference. So
Awesome.
that is the way I divided my training. But what gave me more
Hmm.
satisfaction at that point of time also
Hmm.
was when my trainees used to go ahead and achieve superhero awards and things like that
Hmm.
for the work that they
Nice.
are doing.
Hmm.
That gave me satisfaction. I felt more pride in that
Hmm.
than any other reward or award that I got.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think that grain of able to give
Hmm.
started from there.
Hmm.
And a lot of people, I'm a good listener. That must be the reason why people used to come to me with personal problems, especially
Right.
being in Vizag, Vishakhapatnam, which was just
Hmm.
developing at that point of time in the 2000s.
Hmm.
Now it's supposed to be a smart city.
Hmm.
So at that point of time, children from various backgrounds used to come,
Right.
and it was very difficult for them, like you said, to transition to a corporate environment
Yeah.
with their family backgrounds, and so they used to have a lot of
Hmm.
concerns. And I was a very what to say silent listener at the
Hmm.
beginning, and then
Hmm.
I used to try to help them, and
Hmm.
which used to make a difference. And they have evolved out of it and gone way ahead in life.
Hmm.
Some of
Nice.
them are senior VPs
Hmm.
of HSBC today.
Right.
So, and that's something which I feel very
Amazing.
happy about.
Hmm. So
I hope I
no, absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I
answered
said
your question.
the thing that I have realized is there is no fixed journey for people who have heard the call or answered the call to become coaches. And I say become as in we already are, but it's the realization and therefore the journey that one goes on. Um, so it's fascinating to hear how from your background to getting into training, and that too at a point I'm guessing you're talking early 2000s
Yes,
for the training.
2004 to be exact.
Exactly. Right. So
Yes,
that is a very early
the
stage. There
post-COVID gold.
was no Google in the typical sense. There was no YouTube. So the world was very, very different, and certainly no social medias and no Facebook, whatever. Right. So from that point to now, there's been a whole shift in technology, in socialization, and how people connect, and more so when you're talking about being in a beautiful place like Vizag, right? Um, so so that was one world, right? And then I'm guessing there were there was something that kind of led you from there to this place where you said, okay, happiness is something that I really want to now take further into the world. So there must be some sort of like a off ramp, if you want to call it that, or an on ramp, if you want to call it that, whichever one you connect with. But basically it's like life kind of leads you from one to the other to the other. So I'd love for you to share, having been a trainer, like something made you say, uh, let me kind of shift gears and move more into coaching in a conventional sense. And I do understand, and you can share in your own words the where you are on the journey of coaching. But I'm more interested to understand and to hear from you in your words, what was that mental transition from, because like you said 17 years, that means you're steeped in one world, which is training. And training is its own thing, right? Its own nuances, its own language, its own politics, and especially when you talk about working in a company. And when you talk about working in an MNC, it layers it even more, right? To say the least. So that expression, don't
Interesting
get me
kind of
started.
experience.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, like I said, to answer that question, while I was training itself,
Mm-hmm.
by the side, I was coaching.
Mm.
One-to-one coaching was
Mm.
happening always at the side.
Nice.
My training sessions used to turn into coaching sessions most of the time.
Huh.
When I realized that something is missing in
Huh.
the training session,
Huh.
I wear my coach's hat and get into the coaching mode, and that has given much better result, and that has most of the time. So that has been happening, but that was all unconsciously. That was
Mm.
never a conscious thing that I was
Right.
doing. It was something which was naturally coming out,
Mm.
and it was happening. But then I realized, when I started getting, I should say, feedback from on the positive
Right.
side, when people were appreciating or
Mm.
coming back to saying that, that's when I realized, oh, am I doing this? That means I can do this better if
Yeah.
I can meet out to a larger population
Right.
of people.
Yeah.
But where happiness came into it is something which I should say has
Mm.
been something very personal in my life that has happened,
Mm.
where I had to decide whether I had to sit and moan around
Mm.
or become or take the step to be happy, take control of
Mm.
myself and be happy.
Mm.
And that's when I took that bold step and decided, come what may, I'm not
Mm.
going to lose a smile on my face,
Yeah.
because the years
True.
that I have to be in this world, I need to be able to give the smile to others and
Mm.
with whomever I smile with, because
Yeah.
in your life's journey there will be lots of ups and downs, and there will be naturally.
Mm.
But how do you, as the what to say, overcome it and stride forward in your life? It's the way you stride forward in your life is what will make or break you.
Mm.
It's not natural, it is a lot you, and I think conscious decision
Mm.
to what is happening is what that entire thing on. And to make it COVID adding on to it, I should say, then I
Mm.
realized that 24/8/7 I do not want to sit and work even for an MNC.
Mm.
I want to do meet more people, more people, a variety of others that I want to technical, technical training. So in between, when I was with iHCJ, I also was a part of the thing I was to share other than this part of the that's learning and development, other than training. So in between techniques, which is also technical training. So I used to train leadership skills. I used to do a lot of leadership training
Can I
programs.
make a suggestion? Yeah.
Can
So
you
can
tell
I
me?
make a suggestion? It's just an idea that popped into my head, and we are doing these pods without trying to be
Uh-huh.
perfect, as you know, right? It's just an idea that popped into my head.
Yes.
You have the link to our pod, right? Can you log in from your phone and
Yes.
just see if that works? It's just an idea because I know you had mentioned it once in passing when we spoke earlier, and we've been only going the video route.
Yes.
I've been saying, okay, do this one or Zoom, but neither is like the visual. But the audio is now is breaking up, and your story is far too valuable for me to say, okay, the audio didn't work. Can we do another one? I'm just being natural here, in the as ising,
Okay.
saying that let's just, while we're on this live pod, just to show, when I say just to show, as in just to demonstrate that this is what it means truly being
Okay.
present as coaches. It's not trying to pretend. All I'm saying is just see if your phone is able to log in, and if it works, then we'll sort of add you to that,
Okay.
and
I'll do
you
that.
can, huh?
Switch on to the phone.
Yeah. So through your
Okay.
phone
I'm just
on your
doing
WhatsApp,
that.
yeah. Fingers crossed that you know that sort of becomes like part two, because your story is, it's like now your story is starting to, I can feel the, it's like, this is not even interval, so we're like starting to ramp up, and I know that people will really benefit from your story. So I'll be silent for literally like
I'm
three
logging in
minutes
through my mobile.
through your mobile. Yeah, I'm here. I'm just going to be silent while you're able to focus on this, and let me just, hopefully this will work. So let's see.
So should I log out of this or
No, for now,
just
just stay
continue?
on the video. I just want to see if you're able to log in through your phone.
Oh,
Just an idea, because literally, like, the line was starting to get too choppy, so I couldn't. Beyond a point, it was hard to hear
no,
what you
I
were
just
saying.
saw that it was trying to, there was an internet
Reconnect.
outage. So I,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
So fingers crossed that the phone is able to log in.
Yeah, invited join studio via,
Hmm.
it's asking me to join via the app,
Hmm.
to
Okay.
download the app.
Yeah. Why not? It'll take a few seconds. So,
Interval.
yes, this
Let's
is the
do an
interval.
interval for.
Folks, stick around. For those who are watching this live, firstly, thank you for watching this live. Um, and I can promise you, if you happen to be meeting Dr. Suchitra for the first time, I can promise you that your life will shift. If you already know Dr. Suchitra, you know that I'm not just saying this, it's true, right? So, um, we are also saying a prayer to the techno gods that the technology supports us and we are able to do this.
Yeah, the downside of technology is this.
Is this right? That's the.
Yes. There are a lot of upsides of technology which I
Oh, yeah.
realized during the COVID time,
Mm,
because I could at least speak to my daughter, see her, and speak to
right.
her through
Yeah.
WhatsApp, which was a blessing. Otherwise, I don't know what I would have done.
Mm.
It's not logging in. Should I try from my other phone?
Hmm.
I'll try from my other phone
Yeah.
if possible. I don't know. It's not letting me. Let me again log in. Let me close up all this
Hmm.
reverse side. Let me install. So you can advertise Riverside here now. It says it's for recording podcast. Can we? I don't know why it's not happening. Waiting for it to install. It's happening
Mm-hmm.
pretty slow. I'm installing it in two of my phones. Let's see which ones are faster.
It's like race to the top.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. No, the iPhone was faster.
Mm, nice. Yeah, I won't be surprised if it's optimized for iPhone as well.
Oh, Riverside would like to pay shoes. continue to the studio.
Okay, I'm guessing you're back on. Ah,
I
there
am
you
on
are.
my
You're
phone.
in. You're in. Okay.
So
Ooh, okay.
let's get out of this. That background music was required. So I'm leaving out from
Yes,
the.
yes. Perfect.
Okay.
So can you switch to landscape? Meaning switch your phone the other way around? Yeah, I think that should. No. One more time.
I think I have to
Ah,
change my
there you go.
settings.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes. That's it. We got it. We cracked it.
Yeah, I think then this should not have problems.
No,
There's
this is
1% charge on my phone too.
right. Okay. So we'll sort of like do a semi reset. Um, you've kind of heard how the pod went so far. So, assuming that people are tuning in at this point, or people who are sort of watching and then they realize, okay, there's a tech thing happening, and now we're restarting. So, you can start from wherever you were, where you were talking about basically moving from one world to the other, right? And you can share as much as you want about what was that motivation to choose to be happy and to make that shift.
Okay. So there was a lot of things that happens in life,
Hmm. Hmm.
and there was an occasion where I had to literally face two traumas in my family within a week's time. Losing my mother and my husband in a week's time. So from there, my entire focus and entire thing changed to deciding what I should be doing now because
Mm,
I have a daughter to take care of
mm,
who is abroad and studying. So what should I do now?
mm,
So that is where I introspected a lot, and that's where I came to a decision that the life is still ahead of me.
mm.
I have to do something to stand up and face it with
Right.
all the challenges that it throws on my way.
Mm,
And that's when I decided that happiness is a lifelong journey, it's not a destination.
mm.
So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that.
That's something someone told me sometime back because the first time I'm sharing it without breaking down. They said, uh, when you tear up, you need to drink water. So that's for the
Mm,
output, you require to put an input,
mm.
it will neutralize.
Yeah.
So that's why I came prepared with a glass of water today.
Can I say something?
Yes.
It's beautiful how you have reframed this experience just now. There's one more thing that I have learned from my own life. When you reach that point where you're ready and you're willing to share your story, it's no longer your story. It's a story for whoever is meant to receive it,
Yes. Very true. Yes.
right?
I very rarely share this.
Yeah, right. Mm, yeah. Thank you, truly. Thank you for trusting this space, this moment.
Yeah, let's move on.
Beautiful. So let me ask you this, Suchitra. When you now think about, sharing this with people, and truly, like when you say, and I remember sharing this with you, and telling you this, that when I was like, oh, I didn't ask you, the 2 days of us deeply sharing and talking, and I
Yeah.
did a lot of that talking. I said, two things I realized. One is that the world is round, and it's like sikke ke do pehlu hote hain, right? Like the two sides to the coin. And I was like, oh, it suddenly dawned on me that in the pod, it's the other way around, where I listen and
Yes.
you get to share. That was one.
That's that's why I invited you to my pod so that I can get you to share a lot more of your things which only I heard.
Yeah, yeah, true. So I'm really curious to know, when you are sharing in, as time progresses, as you build out the language of, and I'm saying this more from a, from a coaching perspective, when you're like building the coaching business, um, when you're sharing with people everything to do with, happiness and alchemy, right? Could you tell us a little bit about what's that? Ooh.
Alchemy is age-old science of what to say, preparing medications. So I am trying to prepare a happiness medication because the life that you see, everyone
Mm,
are stuck somewhere or other in their life. They are happy when they achieve one thing, they want something, they get that, they're happy. But that happiness is momentary. It does
mm,
not last more than a certain period of time before they are behind a certain other thing which will give them happiness.
mm,
This is going to be a lifelong journey if they just go behind those things that give them momentary happiness. Now, when
mm,
after you've received or reached a state where you've got everything in life, you still are not happy.
mm,
So that point is where I want to find in people, make them realize
mm,
and help them to get to a state where they have long lasting happiness.
mm,
Not happiness which is momentary, but happiness which is, I can't say everlasting because
mm,
we are human beings at the end of the day with a lot of errors,
mm,
mistakes, I don't know, a lot of other things that circumstances which make us the way we are. So it's not possible that it can be everlasting, but at least we can achieve a state where these small momentary happiness can be prolonged
mm,
and be long lasting. I wouldn't say everlasting,
mm.
but long lasting. And
Right.
I know I have personally, I mean, what to say, day in and day out, I practice that way
Mm,
to get to that level. So, what used to normally affect me in normal
mm,
circumstances, what used to normally affect me and
mm,
used to put me down, today, I can positively and happily say that it doesn't phase me.
mm,
And I would love for people to at least get to reach to where I'm still in
mm,
the journey. I haven't reached because it's a lifelong journey. I'm still in
mm,
the journey, but what till where I have reached and how I have reached it, if I can give it or help some other people also achieve
mm.
that, that is the difference that I want to make. That's
Right.
my
Right.
is
Amazing.
It makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, yeah,
When I
so
see
true.
a person, the first thing, Rahul, I tell them is there's something missing.
Mm.
In the first time, I show them this. Because that smile, that smile in your body, and in the moment you smile, most of the time, 99% of the time, you
Mm.
can smile back. It's not
Yeah,
always.
true,
Depends on the other
true.
person, the receiving end's mental state also, but most of the time, it automatically,
Mm.
what to say, uh, comes back.
Yeah,
It's like the Newton's theory. Every action has got a
equal
reaction.
and opposite.
I
Mm.
only wish that it is a double reaction, a better smile.
Double the smiles.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So,
So, one
couple
thing,
of questions.
can
Go
I say
ahead.
something
Please,
more?
please, please,
So,
absolutely.
I'm just relating it back to my training days.
Uh huh, uh huh.
During the training days, as I mean, you must be aware, we have something called as icebreakers that we usually have.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the first day of training, the first time when we meet, so I used to have I have trained at times in a
Yeah.
simple session. I've trained around 100 people. Technical training, I'm talking about 100 people.
Mm.
Plus, I have trained
Huh.
during that time, and it used to be in the night,
Mm.
core night, when people are this sleeping.
Right.
That is the time when I had to keep them awake and train them so that
Mm.
they're right. So, so the icebreaker that I play is generally I ask them this one question. I give
Huh.
them a small intro about dances, then ask them one small question. If a
Mm.
genie were to give you three wishes,
Mm.
so you can use that anytime. If a genie were to
Mm.
give you three wishes,
Mm.
what would they be and why?
Mm.
There is a clause. You cannot wish a wish over a wish.
You cannot?
Wish a wish over a wish.
Right.
It's the same wish पे के ऊपर you cannot wish another wish. So
Mm.
it has three realistic wishes,
Mm.
and most of my trainees have believed in the genie and the presence of the genie because
Right.
most of their wishes do come true.
Mm.
Sometime in their career time it does come true, and they come
Right.
back and they tell me,
Mm.
"Was there really a genie in the room?" I said, "Of course. Why doubt it?"
Mm. Mm-hmm. You're back.
So yeah. So
Nice.
if I were to ask you that question, Rahul,
Mm-hmm.
if we were to give you three wishes,
Mm-hmm.
what would they be and why?
Three wishes. Mm. One would be limitless energy.
Okay.
Two would be um, good
Making
question.
you right?
No, it's a good question. It's a good question. Um, Two would be um, never-ending belief, and three would be eternal love.
Love you for that. So you'd like to know my three wishes? It
Please.
has changed over the
Uh-huh.
hundreds of trainings that I have done. So my first one is to be contented with what I have,
Hmm.
to gift a smile to everyone I meet.
Nice.
And the third one, of course, yours, to be loved by everyone.
Mm. Beautiful.
I said, yeah,
Nice.
great, you
Nice.
man.
Yeah. And that, like I said, there's always something powerful to learn from other people's stories. So two questions at this point, and I definitely suspect this pod, the way it happened today, was like a precursor to round two, where the environment is more in our control, right? uh, I'm sure you can hear it. There's a lot of echo. We've probably got the fan on, so there's that background, but it's fine. Like I said, we're not. This is not one of those perfect podcasts. This is just about my point is, even if someone happens to watch this, like your question that you asked, mission accomplished, right? So this is the first of many. So this is just for us to, to share what we were meant to. That's why your laptop happened, then your phone happened, and we're here. So we will definitely be back. um, one question I want to ask you at this point is, uh, what is it that you're intending to share with people? Say somebody sees this podcast now, in the next maybe 1 month or 3 months or 6 months, right? And for someone who is looking, um, what is it that you're hoping to or intending um, to hold that space for them for? Like you talked about happiness and alchemy. So, in a simpler way of asking the question, are you intending to work with people one on one at this point of the recording? Are you intending to maybe do workshops, right? Because everybody learns differently, everybody is at a different level of their journey. So, when someone says, I want to reach out to Dr. Suchitra, oh, yeah, she's doing this I want now, right? So, what would that be for you in your journey?
Thank you for asking that question, Rahul, because I have just started on my journey to make it more accessible to people,
Mm,
more than on a one-on-one basis. So I've started working on my courses. So I'm going to be launching workshops,
mm,
webinars and workshops,
nice.
the happiness habitat. So
Ooh,
where we make happiness a lifestyle habit.
nice,
So
nice.
that is the vision that I have,
Mm,
and it's already work in progress. But in the meanwhile, I do take one-on-one sessions
mm,
where if anyone requires any
mm.
assistance or any guidance, they are always welcome there. I mean,
Beautiful.
because I always believe that balancing your life in all aspects is very very important for getting into that
Mm,
journey of happiness. So,
mm,
so wherever they are stuck in their life, wherever they feel that they need
mm,
a helping hand, a guidance, and so till my workshops and webinars, things,
mm.
I am ready. I am already doing one-on-one
Nice, nice,
sessions.
nice. Awesome. One final question for now is, and this is one of my favorites, which is, what is your take, your perspective on community?
Very important.
Mm,
So when you have a community, or when you build a community, or you create a community of like-minded souls,
mm,
the support that you get, it's like your backbone. They hold
mm,
you up whenever that is needed.
mm,
It's more than your family. They become a
mm,
better family because they are responsive
mm,
without any selfishness. It's
mm,
like a selfless regard for each other, because
mm,
we are all like-minded and together
mm,
with one mission in hand. That is, and when that happens, many things, you know, falls into place without
right.
you being aware of it.
Mm,
Many things fall into place. So
mm,
community is, I've realized, especially in today's world, especially when we are so digitalized in a digital world, our community helps a lot, because
mm,
it not only supports you, it supports them also. Because
mm,
it balances, and it is, I would say it's interpersonal. I would say it's very, very
mm,
interpersonal and intrinsic.
right.
Intrinsicness comes from uh, the same vision, same goal, same process that we need to go
Mm,
through to make that difference.
nice. Beautiful. So, um, as I said, the intention is for more people to find you, to connect to your vibrations, and um, to really like rediscover, reconnect to their smile. So, wishing you all the best in being able, to truly hold that space for people as they connect with you, as they reach out to you. So like I said, of course, the links will be in, in the description. And because it's a link tree, as it populates, as you keep adding more links, whether somebody sees this now, whether somebody sees this maybe in 3 months or maybe even 2 years, uh, whatever you have uploaded as the latest link, they will have access to that. So I'll definitely say, that I'm wishing you the very best in this new milestone, new chapter of your life, and may more and more people, and like I was sharing with our guest in the previous pod that we recorded today, like I was sharing with Gomati, that may more and more people and the people who are connected to them benefit from all that you have to offer and all that you are making available.
Thank you
So
so much. Thank you so
wish
much,
you all
Rahul.
the best.
It was great talking to you, sharing my experiences and my life journey with
Mm,
you. Uh, Thank you for that time and the space and understanding. Uh, yes, and lots of love and luck for your journey too.
thank you.
And let me, in this forum itself, invite you to my podcast.
Beautiful. Looking forward to it.
That is going to be a live one. It's going to be in my studio.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you so much,
So
Rahul.
God bless. And as I like to tell folks who follow this journey, that the fact that you're even here right now listening to this message, it just means that you truly are special, and you're meant to receive this, and your mission, your purpose will find you. Just keep showing up like you have right now. And having said all of that, of course, remember always to live with purpose. God bless. And once again, Suchithrra, wish you all the best on your journey as well, as you continue to live with your purpose. Till the next one. Take care. God bless. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.
Okay, we are off. Oops. It was interesting. It was interesting to say the least. A lot of curveballs, but that's the whole point of this work that we do, right? Nothing is prescribed. Anything can happen. Anything is possible. That's my learning even more